G'day everyone, Dan here. Tonight we're having barbecue prawns on the heat beads and reverse seared steaks. So I've got my prawns here ready to go, and we're also doing up these 1 inch thick porterhouse steaks that I bought today. So to prepare the prawns, all I'm going to do, I've melted about a tablespoon and a half maybe of butter in the microwave. So I'm just going to pour that in. I've got a tablespoon of lime juice, in that goes as well. I'm not a big fan of chilli, so there's only a tiny amount of chilli going in there. And 1 whole clove of garlic that I've freshly diced. There's a rather large clove as well. I will add some pepper to that because I do like pepper, more so than chilli, to add the spice. I just want to get some of that chilli flavour with the lime to balance out. And just a touch of salt. I'm using salted butter, and they are saltwater prawns, so shouldn't need too much of that. So from there, I'm just going to get them all really well coated, and then I'll put some Glad wrap on them and get those back into the fridge to just marinate for a couple of hours, because I'll reverse sear the steaks first and then these will go on after. With the steaks, all I'm doing with them is fairly simple. Just salt, pepper and garlic powder. So I like to also get these ready as well for a couple of hours, just to give them some time to absorb the salt. These are going to open, which will be very painful. I like to give them a couple of hours just to absorb the salt and the pepper and the garlic just into the surface of the meat. I have heard that allowing a couple of hours for the salt to absorb into the beef will actually help retain moisture in the steak. So I don't know if it's an actual scientific fact. You'd probably have to watch, what's his name, Goo Goo Foods. Maybe he'll do an experiment on it. He's got a really good channel I watch all the time. But I'll get these, and as you can see, there's some nice marbling in that for a porterhouse steak. And like I said, they're nice and thick as well. So once again, fairly simple. Just a bit of salt on that, a bit of pepper and garlic powder on both sides, and you're good to go. So I just use this Master Foods garlic powder just to add a bit of flavour. You can add a rub if you'd like, but that's pretty much that done. I'll do that on the other side, but we'll come back in a couple of hours once that smoke is ready to go, and we'll go into reverse searing these porterhouses on the Fornetto smoker. Alright, so that's reached 90 degrees there now Celsius. I'm ready to put these 2 steaks on. So I'm going to cook these until they're an internal temperature of about 50 to 55 in the smoker here. So I like to keep it down below 100. It just takes that little bit extra longer to get to 50, 55 internal, so that I know I'm getting that extra bit of slowness in the cooking. So I'll come back now once that's reached 55 degrees internal. We'll take them off. Then we'll rest them for 20 minutes, and then we'll sear them on the coals on the bottom. The same token, we'll do those prawns. Okay, so I've just put the temperature probe into these. They're at 55 internal. I'm going to take them off. Still a bit of red juice coming out, that's fine, but 55 internal in the centre is good, that's where I want it. I might have had it on a slight angle, so it might be towards, but that's cool. I'll give that now 20 to 30 minutes to rest in the alcohol, and let those juices resettle. And this is something I picked up, I can't remember where now. It was another YouTube video about how they reverse sear their steak, and I've done it ever since, and it's actually quite pleasant and it comes out really tender. So I'll give that 30 minutes or so, or until this I've got my charcoal started. I've got lump charcoal in there, just starting now to bolster up the bottom there, because that's just heat beads at the bottom, and I want that lump charcoal just to get some extra flavour. So we'll come back in about 30 minutes, and I'll get these steaks on, and then we'll cook those prawns as well. Okay, so I've now got the heat beads going. If you've only got a Fornetto, you can use the grill plate that comes out of them, because it sits in there round, but I tend to use the cast iron grill plate out of my gas barbecue now for this. So I've added those extra coals that I put in there, and I'm going to reverse sear these now for 2 minutes aside. So I'll time that 2 minutes aside. Then I'll let them rest. Then I'll come back and I'll do those prawns and show you how I do those. They're generally 2 minutes aside as well, so same sort of principle. Just so you have an idea, that's what the steak looks like when it's just been reverse seared. I haven't flipped this yet, it's still only been on there for about 30 seconds. But they come out, I don't think the light's giving that justice, but they're still cooked and you could eat them like that, but reverse searing them by charcoal grilling them, it gives it that extra flavour you're after. Okay, so now we're ready to put the prawns on. What I've done with these is I've used 2 skewers per 6 prawns, just to tag them through both sides, rather than just putting one through the centre where they can actually, they can still rotate. I've done 2 either side so that I can pick them up and flip them as one lot. I've also, the leftover juices and butter, I've added some more butter to the leftover garlic and chilli and lime that was sitting at the bottom because it was still condensed, so it was still kind of cold, so it had all condensed. And I've put some more butter in that. I held it above the heat here and just melted that into each other so I can baste that. It's now 2 minutes aside. I'm going to cook these prawns. Cook these for 2 minutes aside. And while I'm doing it, I'm just going to baste these prawns with this leftover butter. Get out of the line. Leftover butter and garlic, chilli mix and lime, and just baste that on top of the prawns, just so it gives it that extra bit of flavour. Oh, yeah, poodles, unfortunately, most disobedient dogs that ever existed. So while this is cooking for the 2 minutes aside, I'll just keep basting that. Once again, 2 minutes aside, and during the cook I'll keep basting that with what's left of this, more garlic and butter mix. I'll come back when these are done and I'll give you the end results. Okay, so as we can see it, these have cooked for 2 minutes aside, and these I actually flipped them after a minute and then did them 2 minutes aside, but I basted them with butter so that they could get equally basted. But the steak, we'll have a look at that first and see how that's come out. And that's how that's come out there. So a little bit more than, oh actually, I won't say that yet. I'll cut another couple of pieces. That's how that's come out there. So that was to 55 degrees internal and then reverse seared for 2 minutes aside. I'll give that a bit of a flavour test. I've tasted the juices and you can definitely taste the hickory in it. Nice and tender. As for the prawns, it pays not to overcook these. If you do, you'll end up with a rubbery prawn, but I found 2 minutes aside, about 4 minutes all up. Works really well. And you've got all that flavour as well from the lime and the little bit of chilli. It doesn't overpower the prawn, so I don't put too much in. But that's quite pleasant. So until next time, this is Dan, out.